Hi everyone, my name is Scott and I'm the founder and CEO of Aurora. You may already know us from our first product, the Market Size Calculator, and thank you so much to the many of you who have been using it. It's been wonderful to see. But today I want to give a quick introduction to our next product, the Competitive Intelligence Tracker. So we'll just do a demo so you can see how it works. Once you log in through Aurora, you'll be able to see our two products here and a bit of our roadmap to come. But we want to look at competitive intelligence. And so we'll get started by hitting create. And for right now, you can add up to 4 companies at a time. We're going to be working to expand that shortly, but for right now, that is the limitation. And it's very easy to set up. So we'll come to add new company, and we're going to focus just as a quick demo on some financial, like fintech companies. And so we'll do, let's say, SoFi. And so you put in the name of the company as well as the URL, and I'll show you why this is important. So as we add them in real time, our system goes out and checks the website and the name that you created to validate to make sure it's correct. So what this is doing now is checking against SoFi.com, and it will come back and tell us some information about here's the logo and here's a description. Why this is really important is so that you're not spending time and money generating reports that are for the wrong companies or for the wrong details. And let me give you an example of what that means. So there's another company called Varo. Their website is varomoney.com, but for right now, we'll just do it where we'll add in varo.com. And so you'll see it's again going out to check that information. And what it comes back with is a logo that doesn't look right, as well as it saying that it provides a wide range of do-it-yourself and gardening tools. That's clearly not what we want here. So we can delete it and add in what is the right information. So that's varomoney.com. And as it's going and adding that, we're just going to do a few more. So we'll do ally, and then we can add in one more. And you're seeing it's adding the company information already as we're going. So you don't have to wait each time for it to come. But all of these now look right. Again, financial services, financial tech. So these are the 4 that we do want to add. And once we are sure that we have those correct, we hit generate report. This usually only takes a few minutes. And it'll generate an email for you to see, but I've already generated this for you. So we'll come over here and see what the report itself looked like. And at first, you'll see essentially a summary of these companies. So we have the 4 of them appear over the top, and you can click to go directly to their websites or to go into the detailed report for each one of those, which we'll touch on in a second. But just to get a summary of it, for each company, we pulled together key company advantages that they have, the products and services, their CEO or their founders, just in case you're trying to do, let's say, competitive intelligence or connect with these individuals, where they're headquartered. Again, if possible, a lot of companies don't publish their headquarters, as well as a summary of who the company and the products are. But that's to give you a snapshot of these. And you can actually download this snapshot in and of itself if you just want a quick summary. But where it gets really interesting is when we come into the detailed reports. So let's say we want to look at Ally first. So we'll do the Ally detailed report. And as this is loading, what you'll be able to see is you have the 4 companies over here, and then what we're pulling together for you for each company across horizontally across the top. We're quickly adding to expand this and to be able to pull in more information. But for right now, this is how we're starting. And so you'll see messaging and positioning, kind of how they talk about themselves. What are they offering? So the products or services, the reviews, and this is a summary of what people are saying about the company and about those products. Financial data, information about how big their customers are, or user data bases, as well as the references. And we'll walk through these one by one. So you see here for Ally, brand values, positioning, key features and benefits. And this pulls from their own website, but also from what we're seeing kind of elsewhere around the web. But where it's also really interesting is if we look at their offerings. So for some of these, if you're doing a more product-based or a more, let's say, specific service-based, we can actually pull in pricing. But for some of these things like fintech products, they're not necessarily charging you prices, so that's why you'll see this being empty. But it does show you information about online savings, investing, financing, mortgage products. And so it will detail out what those products or those services are that they're offering. And then the way this is set up is, let's say we want to do a comparison of these versus somewhere else. So we can come to, if we click on SoFi, it takes you straight to that section for SoFi or for Varo or for Revolut. So again, it allows you to navigate very quickly between these tabs, and that's the same for anything. What we pulled together are, we do positive reviews, and this is across a vast array of review-based websites. And we do bullet points to highlight what people are mostly talking about, and then a summary of them if you want more detail. And then we do the same for negative. And again, if we click into Ally, it'll show you what those things are for Ally or for any of the competitors. Financial data, where if you're looking to do investigations into how successful they are, if you want to consider you investing in them yourselves, this is something that's really good too. For public companies, for something like Ally, we'll show you the information, how big their market cap is, some of their annual revenues when we can find them, and we're trying to pull the key, publicly disclosed information for them. Whereas, and you can see kind of how this goes through overall. Now, where it gets more interesting is not all these companies are going to be public, right? Like a lot of times you're looking at smaller companies that are private, and Varo is one of those. So for them, you'll see it's private, financial data is not publicly available, but we can pull in the funding rounds and the funding details for you. So it says, how much it's raised across 9 rounds, and then you can get details on what those rounds look like. So Series A was in 2016, led by this investor, and then you can link out to find those investors too. And so it goes the whole way down. And again, if you want to compare this, let's say we look at Revolut, again, we have that information, and this time we were able to pull in how much their valuation was. So sometimes the companies disclose their valuation, sometimes they don't, but it's really helpful to see. And again, you can check to see who their major investors are. And then coming over to key user and customer information. Again, for smaller companies, this might not be as robust, but you can see here things like over 50 million registered users globally as of November. And then we pull all this together with the references as well. And if you want, you can download the report, and it pulls together all of this information into one PDF that you can easily share around. So as I mentioned, we are quickly expanding upon this to be able to add more companies, also add more details, the horizontal section there, and to also add tracking so that if you want to look at financial data, you can track that over time. But this is the first wave of the product, and so we're really excited to have you try it. Again, my name is Scott. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. My email is scott@tryaurora.io. Thank you so much.